Good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Tonight's another edition of Hong Kong House of Cards, where this is following up the scene with the assault on the Triad Hotel, where Gravedigger has gone into the Shadowlands to collect things. He'll appear into the Umbra, and we'll be seeing the rates of basically the majority of the, if not all the dead Bratva members who died in the raid because they ran up on somebody with a man-portable Avenger minigun.
Never wise.
Tends to not work out well. So, Gravedigger.
Gravedigger's standing there with his cane, and he's kind of leaning on it. As he's just kind of going to wait until the carnage stops. So, he's going to wait till everyone who's here is going to be here.
All right. So there's about 15 Bratva soldiers that are just standing there looking confused. They've got some kind of film over their face, and some of them look like they're in a lot of pain still. The others look like they're walking around. Some of them are holding up their hands like they're holding weapons. You'll notice that there are no Chinese-looking people here, so you can imagine that none of the Triad that died in the raid ended up here.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just getting the dice roller set up.
No problem. I need to get the dice roller up too. Where that is. Kim, I'm going to send you the ST dice roller.
Okay.
What the hell? All of a sudden, everything just loaded to a weird size.
Probably.
There we go. So you have arrived, and you see these people standing there. You can see where their wounds are, but they are not seeping. So you obviously realize they're dead.
Yep. Gravedigger kind of when it becomes clear that what I will lovingly refer to as your guys' killing spree is over. He will kind of tap his cane on the ground to kind of make a noise to get their attention. Kind of tap it, tap it, tap it.
They still look disoriented. You hear one person shouting in Russian towards another person, and that person drops down to one knee and holds up his hands like he's firing from a kneeling position.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Because it's going to be much more expedient for me to do it this way, as opposed to me, because obviously the chances are, if they speak English, they don't speak it very well, and whatever else have you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a mind 3, however much spirit you feel I need to throw into this. Basically, I'm going to link my mind. Not linking my mind as in creating the you can do telepathic communication with mind 3. So that's essentially what he's going to do. So he'll bite his lip, and he'll spit the blood onto the back of his hand and make it into a little symbol. So that would be, let me just get my 4 dice. It's mind 3, which means it's diff 6. But using foci, custom foci, drops down to diff 4. Yes, and I'm going to spend a willpower. I'll continue that casting because I need to get this right. Yeah, there we go. That's enough to do it for the scene.
Yep.
So he's not linking their minds to like get their thoughts. He's just linking it so he can communicate his. If that makes, because mostly I don't want to hear their thoughts at this moment in time. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But he will think
Especially
across.
not the guy cradling his nuts.
He will think across the mental link, and every one of them will get, and they can understand it. It will be translated to whatever their dominant language is. Gentlemen, good evening.
They'll all turn towards you.
At which point
It's
he'll
very
wait.
creepy with the film over their faces, but they're looking at you now.
Can I make an int-wraith lore to kind of understand why they've got the filament across their face? What's the DC?
It's not a common known fact. So your difficulty is going to be 7.
Hey Brett, that's 6. That
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 successes.
Yeah. What's covering their face is called the cowl. When somebody freshly pops, and they're not supernatural, they are overcome with the cowl, which projects to them like they're still alive. They're basically, it's a connection to their previous life.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like they're not sure what's going on and they think that they're still alive. When somebody comes by, a wraith comes by to reap them, they reap the cowl off their face.
What is reaping?
It's basically when a wraith shows up, and through something special that they do, they take the cowl off of them and they guide them from there.
Okay. Gravedigger will say, as hard as it is, or rather he will think, as hard as it is for me to tell you this, gentlemen, welcome to the afterlife.
They look confused, and you see them start shouting at each other.
And he will say, I'm sure that this comes as an absolute shock to you, and I can understand that. It's not exactly fair. You've had what it is you treasure the most taken away from you, snatched. However, I'm here to try and offer you a second chance, if that's something you're interested in. If not, I can be on my merry way.
You get a sense of confusion from them, like what could you offer them?
He'll kind of contemplate for a moment. He'll say, I'm sure that many of you, all right, let's do this nice and easy. Okay. For a start, let us be calm. Let us have clarity. He will just kind of, and then he will say, how many of you left behind a child, a wife, a parent, someone you care about? Raise your hands.
There will
Easy.
be raised hands, of course.
Well, for example, you ask what I can do for you. Well, you think it, I can help those people who still remain in the real world so that they remember you and that they're not just, well, you died for, let's face it, you died for one person's pride so that they could take a little installation that, honestly, you were the ones who gave your lives for, mates. So I can help you, the people who you left behind, rather easily, as a matter of fact. And I can help you get even with those people who fucked you up, who put you here. That's something you want, isn't it?
Yeah, you get a lot of raised interest from this.
You will say, and in due time, I can make it so you can even, how's a phrase, you can even manipulate the real world again. I can't necessarily say I can give you a new body. Well, maybe. Not yet, anyway. But, as I've said, this is a long-term agreement. In exchange, I just want you to do exactly what you did for your previous employer for me. Hear things, see things, as you come into the world as it is of this place. My eyes and ears. Occasionally I'll call you to do things. If you're interested, you can have the rewards. Your families can be taken care of. Those who hurt you can be punished. If you're not, as I say, I'll merely be on my way. At this point, I'll let the mental link kind of let them hear and act. Like I'll filter it so I can hear an answer or hear who might be
Okay.
interested as opposed to who aren't.
There's a lot of discussion. You get a very chill feeling down the back of your neck.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hear from behind you, I thought our peoples had agreement.
Gravedigger won't turn around and he'll say, I'm only offering these gentlemen employment. I'm not forcing them.
You are too close to my home, and you're trying to take wraiths that need to adjust to this life before they can decide what is best for them.
He's going to turn around, and I assume I'm going to see a very creepy little kid.
Yeah, here's the funny thing about this creepy little kid. He's flesh and blood.
Okay.
He's 15 years old, wearing funerary clothes, carrying prayer beads in his hand.
Awesome. Gravedigger will kind of stroke his chin as he says, for a start, I didn't realize this was your own. My apologies. And he'll kind of tip the hat ever so slightly. And he'll say, I'm merely giving these gentlemen an option. They can adjust. They can do as they want. I'm not forcing anyone.
Your people were told to leave the dead of Old Town alone. Whether or not that reached your ears is a matter for you with the people of your council. So, by the way, out of character, did you bring the Wu-Kang with you?
No, I don't take them out of the sanctum at their request.
Okay. It's bad enough you keep that thing on a leash. What makes you think I'm going to let you do that to the honest dead?
He'll blink and he'll say, for a start, no one told me about this. We can't interact with the dead of Old Town. Because out of character, no one told me this. He's being completely honest there. And he'll say, however, being real with you, mate, as it stands, the person on the leash, as you call it, realistically, well, how to phrase. If I didn't put them where they are now, they asked me for that fate, or else their soul would be ripped into itty-bitty pieces. And they didn't want that.
So, what you're telling me is you kept an infernalist from their rightful fate and separated them from their just punishment. Is that what you're telling me?
Not at all. I gave someone the chance as they begged me for redemption and meant it. They were afraid. They didn't want that fate. They wanted to redeem themselves and do better. That's what I gave them. I even spoke to their master, and you can see a physical shudder goes through his body, as to the terms that he would release them from service so I could release her myself without risk of her immortal soul. Oddly enough, I'm not as bad as some people paint me from time to time.
No. I'm sure you're not. At least I'm sure you think you aren't.
But if the Terrors Council has made this agreement with you as to not interfering with the dead of Old Town, then my apologies, no one told me. I won't interfere with the dead of Old Town.
Well, I'm glad you've reached that kind of conclusion. You see, after a member of not your people, obviously, but a member of your accord decided to burn down a cemetery, this was one of my requirements so that I didn't slaughter people.
Ultimately, sorry, your name is Ping, isn't it?
I see my reputation precedes me. Have you met my friends? And he's going to motion, and there's going to be 3 wraiths behind him.
Gravedigger will kind of...
One of them looks like basically what an 80s punk would look like if Chinese.
Okay.
One looks like one of this very quiet, shy-looking girl.
Okay.
And then there's another one that he basically is looking off in the distance.
Mm-hmm. I haven't met your friends, but it's a pleasure to do so. Gravedigger's the name. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
The one that's looking off in the distance says, I know who you are. I see what you do. And just kind of shakes his head. At which point, one of the punk-looking chick will slap him on the shoulder and say, stop being creepy.
Gravedigger will say, but allow me to make an assessment of you, Miss. Is it Mr. Ping, or do you just prefer Ping?
It's just Ping. I was too young to be a mister.
Mm-hmm. If any of these individuals, he'll say, gesturing to the people mulling around. By the way, he's obviously speaking this; he's not thinking it. He'll say, gesturing around. What if they want something that you can't offer them? Are you going to say that you can't have something?
No, of course not. However, I should probably reap them first.
I'm not stopping you. Gravedigger will say as he steps back and kind of will make way for them to do their work.
Ping will walk forward, and you'll see crow wings spread out from his back, and he will literally rip the film off of each of the Broadfoot wraiths. Then we'll turn back once more. He's got the 3 wraiths behind him, kind of watching. The punk chick looks like she's about ready to, knock a head in. And when one of them says something that she takes offense to, and will smack him in the face.
I have no idea what this person looks like, but
basically they're going to look like. Do you know what the ethereals look like from Outlands, right?
I do not know what Outlands is, so no.
World of Warcraft.
Oh, those guys, yes. I love those.
Yeah. Yeah, they are all bandages and stuff.
Yes.
Just like that, but with an actual mask on their faces. The madam will have a full robe over all those bandages.
Okay. So she'll show up with her goons, and she'll look at the goth chick who just hit one of the other goons, and will say, "What are you doing? Don't damage the goods, sweetie. Don't do that."
You called me a bad word. Anyone who calls me a bad word is going to get knocked in the head. And I didn't stonehand him, at least.
Oh, poor you. He called you a bad word. Do you need someone to kiss it and make it better?
She's just going to shudder a bit, and then she's going to look at Ping. Ping, you didn't tell me the maskers were coming. Ping's like, I wasn't aware they were, and he's going to look at the madam. I should have known you'd start sniffing around here when there was fresh death. I honestly expected you to be here before he did, and he'll point to Gravedigger.
Oh, I was just here when the death started. Don't mind me.
I'll admit, I'm running a little late, but I think I showed up right on time.
The one that looks distant will say, she got something stuck inside of her again. At which point, the quiet girl will look at him and say, Jiandu, you need to stop using your fatalism. Ping will just hold up a hand and everybody will grow silent, and then he'll look over to the madam. I assume you're here for the same reason he is.
Hello.
More or less. I require fresh materials, of course.
As I said to Gravedigger, this place is a protectorate that is under my purview, separate from the necropolis. I trust you understand why I'm telling you this.
Oh, I understand. I just don't really care.
No, I didn't think you would. What brings you so far from the necropolis anyway, besides death?
As I've said before, fresh materials.
Well, then there's a little bit of an issue. You see, Mr. Gravedigger here has offered all of these individuals a chance at another life, which will rob you of your materials and will rob me of my protectorate.
Well, if this gravedigger doesn't get out of the way, then I might just have to take him as well. As I said, I am here for one thing and one thing alone, and I intend to return with it.
Gravedigger, as I say, Gravedigger, he's actually standing out of the way, so he's kind of just stood to the side. Hey, Brett, I'm going to do a little bit of an experiment. He's going to start counting via the mental link, just counting 1 to 10. You know, so 1, 2, 3, just to see if anyone kind of registers the fact he's doing it, because I don't think they can hear in on what I'm doing.
No, nobody else could except maybe the guy with life webs up, but yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Basically, you've got about 12 of them that will agree to it as long as A, their captain is dead, and B, Ping Mai is dead.
I'm strangely okay with both of them.
And then you have the others, they just want to go with you anyway because they want to beat stuff up.
Gravedigger will kind of he'll turn on the he's not going to like angrily turn, but he's going to kind of lean on his cane again, and he's going to say, look, I don't want to fuss, and I really don't want to fight. However, perhaps I can make you Mr. Ping. Sorry, you don't like being called Mr. Ping. Ping, I've got a question. Does the amount of death matter to you?
What do you mean?
Quite simply, do you want bodies, or rather not bodies, do you want souls in your area? Is the amount of death something that you want?
No. What you do not understand, and what the madam doesn't understand, is that it's not about how many race there are. It's a matter of my obligation to protect them from you. He's going to point to the Gravedigger, and you, and he's going to point to the madam.
Hey Brett, let's do this would be a fast cast, and I'm trying to think what it would be. Could he use a spirit roll to look at both the madam and Ping and see which one of them appears stronger as entities?
You can't really do a measure of spiritual power. Well, you can.
It'd be like looking at Erate or something like that. So it's like raw. I don't know.
Yeah, but
race
you
have
need
Arcanoi
prime
or whatever.
for that. You need prime spirit and mind to look at people's power levels, so to speak.
Okay, I lack the prime, so don't worry about it. Gravedigger will say, ultimately, and he'll look at Ping and he'll fix him in his one good eye, and he'll say, I believe that ultimately, every soul here, when they pass over, you want to protect, you want to keep in your hands and keep safe, and that's very admirable. And he's being genuinely serious. If you want to roll anything on him, however, I think that you're the kind of guy, or spirit rather, who wants these wraiths once they come into themselves to do what it is they want to do with their own afterlife. So all I'm asking, and I'll leave after that, because this is your territory, is if they want to come with me, you give them the chance to do so. Of their own free will. I'm not doing anything to influence their free will. That's all I ask.
Ping will nod. It is not that I want them to stay here. And it's not that I want them to do whatever they want. I want them to achieve what is necessary for them to pass on peacefully.
And what's that?
Whatever it is they need to do. There's always something that ties a wraith to this plane of existence. Something unfinished, something needed, something that ties them down and prevents them from hearing the call of the afterlife, whether it be so above, so below, or so beside. You could say that that is my reason that I am still here.
That explains
However,
it.
and he'll motion to the madam. She will deny them all those things.
She'll shrug.
Out of character, Evan knows about the guilds, the Wraith guilds. Let's roll another int Wraith Lord to see if he can identify what the madam is and whatever else have you in character. What's the diff on that, Brett?
For guilds, it's going to be another diff 7.
Cool. That's another. That's another 5 successes.
She is obviously the head of the Maskers Guild.
Okay. What do Maskers do?
You've met them before. Oh, no, you didn't. You weren't part of that group that met them before. The Maskers...
I was part of the group that went to the Necropolis before, so I may have met them.
Yeah, you know who the Maskers are then. They are the Moliators. They are the ones that take wraiths and turn them into raw material and use them to build things. Like, say, buildings or chamber pots or cock rings or dildos or all sorts of things. They're even used to make money. Stygian coins, which are used for goods and services. A masker gets to the head of the guild in the Necropolis by being the most powerful Moliator there is, and by also having some other tricks up their sleeves.
That's fair. By the way, Gravedigger still has Stygian coins from the last time we were away. How much are the coins actually worth? Like from a Wraith perspective, like what can a Stygian coin buy you?
They can buy you a lot of different things, goods and services primarily. You equate them according to how they used to equate trade crowns or pieces of 8. So gives you kind of an idea. The coins that you have, that you got the last time, are worth about 50 to 70 Stygian trade.
So Gravedigger will turn and look at the lady and look at the mistress of the masks, and he will say, "Right, since I've made my peace with Mr. Ping here, and he understands me, and I understand him. By the way, coincidentally, Mr. Ping, I intend to help these fine chaps find their way onto the afterlife. Cross my heart and hope to, well, not die because I don't want to die, but you know."
He was going to perk empathy that. Let's see. 6.
I'm going to roll subterfuge because it's Gravedigger's natural state of being. But, yeah.
Successes.
How many successes?
6.
Oh, Lord.
There's nothing below a 6 on that roll. That was really nice.
That was a good roll.
I'm never going to get a roll like that again in my life. I can guarantee it.
You just jinxed it.
Just beat you. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no, he does. No, he's being genuinely honest because he thinks in order to help them move on, bear in mind, he could be wrong, but this is his opinion in character. He thinks that by helping them do what they want, it is their path to the afterlife. So he's willing to help them do what they think that they want to do. Even if that doesn't get them the way upstairs or downstairs, he thinks it does. So he's being completely honest.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And he'll then casually turn to the masker, and he will say, So, let me get this straight. You want souls in order to bend, twist, and contort into whatever shape you want them to be, yeah?
Exactly.
See, I like you. You know, you're in this for the business. You're all about the end result, getting what's needed and all that jazz. So, how about you and I make a little bit of a contract, a covenant, as it were? Do you like contracts? I assume you do.
Will you please, how do you phrase it? Stop beating around the bush and get to the fucking point already?
Right, yeah.
My time is valuable.
Oh, I understand entirely. What if I can tell you when and where you can reap many more souls than this paltry gathering? Outside of Master Ping's domain.
Oh, see, Brett, I'm assuming she can already figure that out for herself, right?
Oh yeah, she has life webs. She can tell when people are going to die.
See, why would I need you to tell me that when I can do it myself?
Because these people are outside the ring of fate. I very much doubt you can tell when they're going to die.
No, I still can, for the most part.
All right then, why don't you tell me what you want so that I can take this clutch of people with me to help them go to their reward?
I'm going to PM you something real quick, Kim. Hold on.
Okay.
So we don't have dead air. Who likes short shorts?
Are you serious, Brett?
I'm just saying this is kind of how she feels.
Okay. So she'll just stand there for a moment and then look over to the freshly reaped wraiths. Man, that is a tongue twister if I've ever said.
Freshly wreathed rapes, yeah, it is, isn't it?
Right? Shit, I'm never gonna do that again without like stumbling over my words. And then she'll look back to Gravedigger and will say, sorry. See, the thing I want, I can create with them. So, mountain of coins, a very, very specialized toy, etc., etc. And
not.
I can do that once I get the fresh materials, which is why I'm here.
That makes a lot of sense. It really does. However, do you know something you can't? Well, not you can't, because in theory you could. In theory you could do anything, but that's not the point, right? What you can't, what is more difficult to come by than a handful of raw materials, and from what you've told me, these people are a handful of raw materials, is having a favor owed to you by a mage, and he'll tip his hat. And I would happily give a favor in exchange for a handful of paltry souls.
Pink's gonna look over at the madam and say, "To be fair, dealing with the living is a little more trouble than it's worth."
Oh, I understand that completely.
Oh, she's also gonna notice his eyes are jet black now.
So she'll just kind of look at him, and of course she's got the mask on, so I'm not gonna do facial features. But yeah,
Right.
she'll just stare at Ping Mai for a little longer, and then
Not Ping Mai, just Ping.
Ping. Sorry.
Ping Mai's
I know,
building in the real world.
I have to get more inventive with my names, and they'll be more inventive in London, I swear.
Isn't the emperor of the Quajinos called Ping?
Wan Ping.
Yeah.
Jesus.
God dang it.
I didn't make that
God
name.
damn it. No, that was
And
an
you're a
R in there.
Ping, and you're a Ping, and everyone's
Here a ping, there a ping, everywhere a ping ping.
Okay, so yeah, just tack the Ping Mai or the Mai off of that, keep the Ping, and then she'll look back over to Gravedigger and say, "Well, you heard the lovely gentleman over there. You are much too troublesome to deal with, honestly.
I can accept that as a premise. However, he kind of looks at Ping and he says, I think that you're actually not in the best position here, because I very much doubt Ping here, fine gentleman that he is going to let you simply take these people without some kind of altercation. So I'm trying to think what actually earns you something and makes your time here worthwhile without having to get into fisticuffs.
As if to expound upon that, she's going to notice that Ping is holding a black sphere in one hand. That is... I'm going to PM you real quick.
Can I make that sweet rate lower roll to identify?
No, this is a high level power. You won't have access to it.
That's fair. It's like a shard. Oh crap! It's a shard of oblivion, isn't it? Evan knows these things and is scared.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I just realized I'm playing this chick like a Nosferatu. If I can get it. Anyway.
Nosferatu plus Toreador equals Masker, so you're not off. Yeah.
Fucking amazing. So her face will slowly move down to the sphere, and then back up to Ping. Then over to his goons. She knows how many goons she's got.
Yeah, she's got about 2. He's got about 3. His goons, however, are more well known than hers, I would say.
And then she'll look back over to Gravedigger. Yeah. She's still standing straight still, and she's still got the mask on her face, so yeah, she's just staring at Gravedigger right now.
Gravedigger will smile and wave.
I won't say that you're wrong. Actually, you're quite right. There would be an altercation between the lovely Ping and myself, but, well, with everything comes a price. And with the materials that I need and the wonderful amount that is here, the price to be paid, though I wish that there would be other ways to do this without fighting.
I'm just here to help. So why don't we come up with a resolution to this little humbug that doesn't involve physical altercations or fisticuffs? Everyone's happy.
Because none of these deals are looking quite good in my favor, unfortunately. On one hand, I can tell you to go fuck off, and then have to fight Ping here. And then I could possibly make this deal with you, and then have to deal more with the living. And that's something that is annoying, because the time I could be spent dealing with the living, I could be crafting what I want. Oh dear, this doesn't look too good for me, unfortunately.
Ping's going to banish the sphere and he's going to step forward. Perhaps I can offer a solution. He's going to look at Gravedigger, and he's going to look at the madam. There's a figure in history from Judeo-Christianity known as Solomon. Solomon was presented with 2 women claiming a baby for their own. Now, obviously, only one of them could be the mother. So Solomon, deciding that both women had an equal claim to the baby, suggested that the baby be cut in half. One woman said, fine, go ahead and cut the baby in half, while the second woman pleaded with Solomon to simply give the child to the other woman. The one who pleaded was given the child, as Solomon realized that only the mother would truly care for the baby and would want it to live regardless of where it lived. Well, these are not babies. There's about 16 despicable creatures here. Split them amongst yourself. Just make sure you take them outside of my protectorate, and I'll be fine.
Gravedigger will look at the madam and smile, and he'll say, you want to turn these people into things. You want to twist them up and knot them up and make them into, I don't know, chairs, toilet seat covers. Am I correct in that assumption?
Perhaps not a toilet seat cover, but close enough.
That seems fair. So, what is your demand?
Taking half would be fine. Gets me what I want to a small level. Allows me to go back to. Oh, see, I'm assuming it's she'd say the necropolis instead of her home?
Yeah, the necropolis.
Okay. To the necropolis. And frankly, I'm getting tired of dealing with the both of you.
Brett, can I make because it's one of those rolls that I never get to make, but, you know, I really should make it more often. Can I make an intelligence enigmas roll to try and puzzle out why he used that story? Because out of character, Evan has the theory that he's basically trying to do the Solomon of prove to me that you're worthy and take all as opposed to half. But I want to see if Gravedigger will make that logical leap via making a roll.
I'm going to give it to you. He used it as a basis for his own determination. He knows what kind of souls they are already, thanks to Dude with Fatalism 5 and Life Loves 5. He doesn't care what happens to them. He just wants them either protected under him or the fuck out of his protectorate.
Okay. In that case, Gravedigger will nod and he will say, in that case, I'll accept, on the grounds that I pick which half I want first. You want them for raw materials. I might want them for something else.
That I will say no to. I pick first. I refuse to be left with less than desirable materials.
In that case, since we've come to the proverbial impasse, the negotiations begin. How about the simple, I will let you choose first, and then we alternate, one pick each.
We'll look over them again.
As you guys turn to look at the new wraiths, when they got reaped, they learned how to speak with the rest of you guys. So they look freaked out and are starting to fight amongst themselves.
It's go with Gravedigger or be made into shit.
Yeah. One of them actually grabs the punk chick and looks like he's trying to hold her hostage. So I really should have brought up Wraith while I was thinking about this. I'm not going to roll for it. I'm going to just... So, Pandemonium 4
Oh, God.
is a nasty little bit. If I can remember what it does, it's going to start affecting somebody. This doesn't have bookmarks. Sorry for the dead air, people.
Who likes short shorts? I mean, Kim, you live in Louisiana. I assume you like short shorts.
Not really.
Baby on girls.
Da-da-da.
I mean, a lot of the people down here don't really got a booty. Plus, like,
That sucks.
where I normally go, everyone's wearing scrubs, so I see like nothing anyway.
Well, I mean, Kim, do you like big butts? And you can apply.
I don't really have a preference. I mean, people in general are pretty cool.
No, just remember, from the point of view of your family, Kim, they think you're into anthropomorphic cat girl porn. Thank you, Jason.
Oh my fucking God.
Anyway, so this is actually going to be funny. Unless you're creeped out by, bugs and spiders and stuff.
Yeah.
She looks at the guy. Her eyes go wide, and all of a sudden, out of the very mist and darkness of the Shadowlands, the guy just gets swarmed with bugs and insects that just start running all over him. He screams and passes out, and they fly and they go, and then they go on their way. And now they're freaking out again because, hey, this is some woogie shit.
You know what? Because this is not conducive to anyone. Over his mental link, I'm just going to use a Mind 3 effect to calm them the fuck down.
Okay.
Not actually, like, I'm not it's just not necessarily commanding them to be calm, but just kind of inducing calm. So that would be 4d10 7. I'm going to spend a willpower. So that's 1 into effect. Oh, sorry, for the scene. Is it 3 for the scene or is it 2 for the scene?
It's turn hour scene, so 3 for the scene.
Yeah, no, he doesn't need it for the full scene. So he's going to knock 2 into effect, 2 into effect, 2 into time. So it'll be for an hour just to calm them down.
Okay. They'll start clawing down. They'll start calming down, and one of them starts looking pretty morose, like, oh, what the fuck ever.
Yeah. So Gravedigger will then turn and say, do we have an agreement in that case?
The guy that looks morose will say, I don't fucking care anymore. But yeah, otherwise they look like they're in agreement.
No. He was asking the Madam of the Masks if
okay.
she was in agreement too. You can pick first, and then we'll alternate.
She'll nod.
Okay. So we'll just do the whole 15 minutes pass.
Yeah.
As we go through them.
All right, so obviously the dude that passed out from getting spidered is the last one to be picked.
If I pick second, then she picks last, so you get unconscious Jim. I think that's how it works. Even number. Yeah, that is how.
Okay, so you guys... Yeah, so she would be forced to take on. Actually, who chose first? I thought you wanted the first choice, right?
Kim got the first choice, that I chose second. Oh no, then I would get the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll take unconscious Jim. For the record, Brett, I want him. If I have to write these down on my sheet, I'm calling him unconscious Jim.
Okay. That's completely up to you.
Hooray! But Gravedigger will then turn when we've, divided up the 16 into 2 lots of 8, and will say, "Right, are you sanguine with this agreement, Mr. Ping? Oh, sorry, just Ping."
As long as it is removed from my protectorate, I am perfectly sanguine. Sanguine is someone with. And he's going to flick his wrists around. Formaldehyde can be.
And you, Madam of the Masks, are you also pleased with our agreement?
More or less.
Very well then. In that case, I think I'll be bidding all here good evening. Ping, if you would not mind showing me to the border of your, or having one of your friends show me to the border of your domain.
He's going to look over at Chandu, and Chandu just looks at him and says no. Then he's going to look at Onlai, the punk, and Onlai's just like, "You're kidding, right?" At which point he's going to look at G, and G goes, "Oh, okay."
Pleasure doing business with you, he'll say, tipping his top hat to the collective.
The girl, now that you're closer to her, she is absolutely stunning. Let me just look it up real quick because I'm trying to remember.
God damn it! If I'd taken that derangement of necrophilia, this could have ended so badly.
Well, you can't bang a wraith anyway. She's appearance
Bloody well
5.
Not with that attitude.
She's appearance 5, cute.
Nice.
She's going to look to the madam, and she's going to say, "Do I need to escort you as well?"
And she'll just turn away and start heading off.
The girl's going to. Sorry, I'm trying to give Kim a crash course in Wraith Arcanoi.
Some of them are pretty fucking dope.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, if it's easier, I can just take out my headphones. You can talk to Kim and just write in the chat when you want me to come back.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. 1 second. Taking them off now.
Okay. All right, so here's the basics of what you can do with your powers. At Emoliate 5, you can basically rip anything in the Shadowlands apart and use it as raw material. With Argos 3, you can navigate the Tempest, but you can't fly through it, so you can take people on safe passages through the Tempest so that you avoid getting sucked into the Maelstrom. With Outrage 3, you can Stonehand Punch, which is probably one of the most common combat abilities of Wraiths. With Keening 3, you can Shriek. Let me check real quick and see what the... Because basically Keening is like Banshee stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Keening, you can Dirge allows you to. Dirge is one. It allows you to basically depress people. Ballad is inspiration of the higher emotions. Muse allows you to move people in the right direction. And then usury is all about using people, literally. You basically can create contracts between people to where they owe you things or you owe them things. You can look at them and see what's wrong with them. You can transfer your pathos to them or take pathos from people. You can also do the same thing with, at your level, you can also do the same thing with angst. Not only that, but as high as you are, you have what's called investments, which means that any pathos or angst you take, you can put it into something else, which is basically you make the Wraith equivalents of Gaia's Milky Tears, or a Periapt, or Tass. So, like I said, she's not meant for combat. The two thugs beside her are. They're the ones with Outrage, Phantasm, and Pandemonium.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Eventually, I want to get you a copy of Wraith because it is. I like having the STs no Wraith just in case it has to be used. Tiger and Tim are the only ones besides me, I think, that have any knowledge of Wraith.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
I will probably I should start reading up on all of them now, honestly. Like, I know the main ones, like, of course, Mage, Werewolf, Vampire, Changeling is the other ones that I don't really know all that well.
I'm telling Evan to come back now.
Okay.
Evan.
But I returned.
Okay. Just making sure. All right, so she's walking off. You've got this gorgeous-looking librarian leading you, like very much the epitome of unpins her hair and is all of a sudden stunningly gorgeous.
Ah. Okay.
Right. She's leading you to the outskirts of town with your 8 wraiths, while the other 8 have been carted off in chains by the Madam of the Maskers.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's fine. That was our agreement. When we get to the edge of Ping Mai's domain, Gravedigger's actually going to sit on the inside of Ping's domain for a little while, because he knows that once he crosses the threshold, he's outside of Ping, basically, or the wraiths are outside of Ping's protection, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows that when that happens, obviously at that point he can bind and fetter them, aka he can give them a fetter and, link them. Mm-hmm. But he's nervous that basically once he leaves that they're going to be jumped by something big and spectral because, Ping won't intercede outside of his domain. So Evan just wants to do some spell casting rolls while he sits in the Shadowlands, basically.
Okay. You notice that GE is not leaving.
Okay. He will he'll before he closes his eyes to do his spells, he'll say, I assume that you are to wait until such time as we are safely across the border.
You would be correct.
Very well. Cool. I'm going to do the first of my rotes, which is one of my favorite ones. I love the names I gave some of these back when I was still doing funny names for my rotes. It's called I'm the Motherfucking Ferryman, bitch. Basically, it means that any opposed roll I have with the rate, so if they're actually rolling to oppose me, it increases their difficulty by the amount of successes I put into effect, which is pretty nice. So he'll by the way, does spilling your blood in the Shadowlands have any weird or hinky effects that Gravedigger would know about?
Nothing you've experienced yet.
Okay, cool. In that case, because that is his foci and he will continue the casting. And one last time for luck. Okay, so that's going to be 3, 6, 7. Okay, so for the scene, any opposed roll a Wraith has to make against him is its difficulty will increase by 4. So if it's a diff 6, it becomes a diff 10.
Okay.
Because he's basically winding fate. And the last thing he's going to cast, which will bring up the difficulty because he's now got more than 2 enchantments on himself, and that raises the diff by 1 standard, is just going to be the one that lets him trade dice or trade successes for failures, called Luck Ain't Your Lady Tonight.
Okay.
And he'll do that again. And he'll spend a willpower on the last one. Okay, cool. So he can now trade, he'll keep that one up for the hour, so he can now trade 3 of his failures for other people's successes.
Okay.
And they will step across the frontier. Na. Does anything jump out at us?
Kim?
I'm thinking. No, nothing probably doesn't jump out at you. No.
All right.
Unless
Yeah.
Fred has something.
Nope. You'll notice that on my, the G, she just kind of gives a wave.
Okay.
And then she seems to discorporate.
He will wave back. So Brett, what he's going to do before he leaves the Shadowlands is basically every one of the rates, because they've said that they'll do as he asks in exchange for their little requests. Actually, Brett, how many of the 8 that he would have were the I just don't want to die, and how many of them had actual requests that they wanted to make of him?
I would say about 4 of them.
Okay, cool. So basically each...
Your phone, just out of curiosity. You said
My
it's
phone's-
awakened, right?
Yep.
Do you have any other tech on you?
No. Maybe a watch and, wasn't
What about your
ordinary-
iPad?
He doesn't carry his iPad with him.
Okay.
Why does the Shadowlands do hinky things to technology?
They have in the past, so I'm just wanting to find out what you got. As long as your watch will probably not, when you go back to the real world, your watch will restart.
Okay, cool. So basically what Gravedigger will do is he will line up the wraiths, and he will have each one of them kiss the ring that he has on his left ring hand. As they do so, because they're doing this of his own volition, it's not opposed, so a chain will come from the ring and attach around their neck, at which point a little collar will just, kind of appear in the same spirit stuff that just has a little symbol on it that is, Gravedigger's symbol, and the chain will lock and connect. And he'll do that to each one of them. Basically, the ring forms a fetter with whoever it fetters.
Okay.
So at the moment, there will be 9 chains in who can perceive
chains.
spirits.
Oh.
No, because it also has the Wu Kang's chain.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kiss the ring, bitch.
Kiss the ring, bitch. And after that, he will step sideways out of the Shadowlands.
Okay.
Actually, he'll kind of. Can I peek across the gauntlet from the fade, whatever it's called, from this side?
You have to do the Spirit 2 effect to do that.
Cool. He'll do the Spirit 2 effect, mostly because I don't want to pop out in the middle of a public street. That might end very sad. It'll be Spirit 2 effect, you said, so that'll move it down to 3 because he'll use his Focine. 2 successes to peek across. Where are we at?
I don't see you in the rolls room.
I am in the rolls room. Do you want to link me the rolls room again? Because I'm... Kim, can you confirm if I'm in the rolls room or not? Please?
On my end, it said you left.
Okay, maybe there was a connection issue. That's cool.
No. Now I see it.
There you guys are now.
Okay.
I don't see it.
There must have just been a... I'll roll it again. Give me a sec.
Yeah, you got a 7, 5, 2, and a 3, right?
Yeah, 7, 5, 2, and a 3.
Yeah,
okay, that said that rolled 3 minutes ago.
That must be weird lag.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you are in an alleyway, just outside of Old Town.
Okay. Is there any?
You are now hearing. It's been probably, by your best estimate, without looking at your watch, been about 20 minutes since you stepped sideways.
Okay.
And cops, you're just now starting to hear sirens.
Hong Kong PD, proud to serve you whenever the fuck they decide to.
Pretty much.
Oh, that does raise an important question. Am I still invisible?
How long was your effect for?
It was slightly longer because I had the extra successes. What's one above a scene?
It's an hour.
No, it's 2 for an hour, 3 for a scene. What's 4?
No, it's 1 for a turn. 2 for 1 for a turn, 2 for an hour, 3 for a scene.
No, 1 is 1 turn, 2 is 1 scene, 3 is a day, and then 4 is a story. And then
Okay, cool.
months and ST's description.
In that case, he had the 3 successes on his previous roll, so yeah, he would still be invisible to the mortal eyes, but he didn't add spirit to the original effect, which obviously makes sense why spirits can see him.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
you're still invisible.
Cool. In that case, he will step sideways back into the real world. What's the gauntlet level here?
Gauntlet level is. Let's see. Just what's that? It's going to be about 6 right now.
Cool. So that'll drop it down to 4. You only need 1 success to step sideways.
Holy shit!
And he botches. Yeah, he's. Oh no, he doesn't botch. He just.
No, you botched.
No, I do. Crap.
Shit.
I don't remember what happens in the event you botch
You're
that.
stuck.
Crap. Crap.
And you can't pull yourself out either.
You know something? He's kind of there, just kind of hanging, and he's just like, "This is embarrassing.
Okay.
This is incredibly embarrassing."
All right. I'm gonna do a little STN wavium. You feel somebody grab you by the shoulder and pull you through. And when you're finally free, you see it's Arthur.
If it helps, my actual plan was to talk to my awakened cell phone and have it call Arthur. Yep. So he'll kind of do a very unceremonious kind of somersault and land on the ground, face down, kind of like.
Arthur's gonna look around real quickly. Who did that?
That wasn't dignified.
Who said that?
Gravedigger, basically, because myself and Tiger never discussed it, but I assume with the effect to make myself invisible, I can let other people see me if I want them specifically to see me.
Yeah, it's basically relenting.
Okay, he will relent and let Arthur see him on the ground.
Arthur's going to look down at you and say, "How did you fuck that up?"
I was in a rush.
He's just like holding his head slightly and saying, You were invisible. You're lucky. You're lucky that I felt a presence there." You only get one, and he's going to look really perturbed, and he's going to start walking off.
What's the matter with you?
Bad day, people dying, loud gunshots, cops that are showing up 20 minutes late. It's unsettling. It's
the cops aren't right. Arthur, stop for a start. The cops aren't showing up 20 minutes late. The cops decided to let the fucking Brother attempt to take out Ping Mai. They wanted to see how it would play out.
Oh, so that's what that was about?
Yes.
I thought somebody just got their hands on military-grade weapons and had a field day.
No.
Wouldn't exactly be the weirdest thing to happen.
No. But basically, the technocracy are trying to make all the dominoes start falling. If Ping Mai goes, that means they can rule the underworld as well as the overworld.
Well, it was going to happen sometime. Did Ping Mai actually die?
No, he's still alive.
Was Bai Nu there? I understand that he's close with them.
Yeah, he was there.
Is he alive?
The man is a living tank.
does not answer the question.
Yes, he's still alive.
Okay. All right.
But Gravedigger kind of picks himself up and dusts himself down.
Just out
He'll
of
say,
curiosity, what did you get stuck in the gauntlet or the wall?
the wall.
That's what that was then. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Next time you want to do something like that and you're in a rush, bring a buddy. Don't do it alone.
Oh, we're not friends, Arthur. You can see there's a kind of an amused look of, kind of hurt on his face.
Arthur's just like, I can't be there all the time. I'm not a god yet.
No, don't suppose so. Where's your master about this time?
What master?
Oh, fuck. Your old master, DeSau. My apologies.
He's never been my master, but...
Oh.
No, it was Jason's master, not mine.
Oh, yes, that's the words.
He's probably in his sanctum.
Right, okay.
Said something to me a while ago about having to make a targeting zone.
That's not unnerving at all.
I didn't ask questions, if that's what you mean.
You're probably best not to.
Anyway, I really should be going. Things are shifting a little bit, and then there's the solar eclipse coming up. So, cheery
If
bye.
it helps, Gravedigger, he won't grab Arthur hard, but he'll kind of put his hand on his shoulder, and you just kind of see the nails, the long black nails. And say, myself and the Hollow Ones have decided before everything melts that we've got to get the fuck out of this city. I just wanted to let you know that you've been one of the more decent chaps.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm kind of a little dismayed you're not going to help help us fight it out, but can't say I'm surprised.
A strong breeze would kill me, Arthur.
To be fair, if I hadn't done what I just did, you would probably be dead. So, yeah, your point is taken. Because if I hadn't pulled you out, something would have come by and pulled you back in. And that's something that would have pulled you back in would not have necessarily been friendly.
Gravedigger will nod, and he'll say, but anyway, and he'll hold out his hand to Arthur. This is like the first time Gravedigger has ever offered a handshake. Good God. And he'll say, it was good meeting you.
Arthur's going to extend his hand to shake his, and there's going to be a very strong radiant warmth to his hand.
Okay.
Well, it was good to meet you too. I
try not to ascend to demigodness or anything like that, okay?
If I can help it, I will not.
Okay. Gravedigger will use his phone, his awakened phone, and he'll just say, "Right, Xingxi. For a start, find me a fucking Uber. For a second, call Master DeSau, please."
All right. And when you turn back, Arthur's going to be gone.
Oh, I assume he birded.
Yeah. Because alleyway, so less paradox.
Hashtag alleyway.
Yep. Okay, so you're calling Master DeSau?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Uber is being basically your Uber app activates and blah blah blah. The phone rings and picks up and says, "Mr. Gravedigger, can this wait? I'm a little preoccupied."
It's somewhat important.
Very well. What can I do for you?
Would it be possible for, well, anything's possible for you, he says as he trumps through the back alley waiting to go to the nearest main street to get his Uber. Would it be possible if you and I could have a word in my office? I assure you it's worth your time.
I'll need about 30 minutes to clean up, and then I'll be there.
Fair. I'll see you then. He'll click the phone to hang it up. And the Uber will take him back to his house, or back to his club, rather, where they're currently boxing everything up.
Okay. So precisely 35 minutes later, DeSau will be heading down the stairs to his sanctum.
Okay. You'll find Gravedigger and a troop of gothic-looking miscreants are in there currently packing boxes. Ah, Master DeSau, may I offer you a drink?
He's going to look around at the group and he's going to say, I get the feeling that somebody wearing a pink shirt would send everybody running.
One of the girls will offer a comedic hiss before she walks out the door. But he'll say, may I offer you a drink, Master DeSalle?
Yes, if you have any 30-year-old Glenn McKenna, I would appreciate it.
Very good. He'll have it brought down from upstairs. And he'll kind of hop onto his desk, so he's sitting on the desk.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say, right, I've got one last piece of information for you, and after that, I'm done.
Information? What sort of information?
The kind of information that you, I assume, will want. What sounds like a fucking the Star Trek ship's computer?
Sorry, it's this game I've got. I have to reset some stuff before it times out to the next day.
Okay, cool.
He's just going to say, very well, if the information is sound, I'll consider it worthy.
Well, I assume you know that, well, I don't know if you know or not, but tonight the technocracy attempted to take down Ping Mai at his house.
So that's what those rockets were.
Yeah. By the
Usually
way,
they're not that bold.
No, but that's the thing. This is their end game. They're literally rolling it all up.
So they were using their underworld contacts to try to take down one of the most powerful underworld bosses in the city.
Correct.
The only thing I can question is why they left it in the hands of some Russian brats. Why didn't they roll out their own equipment?
You can see Gravedigger's eyes kind of flick to the left and goes, no, shut up, Sergey. Just go sit in your corner. Go sit in the corner. Thank you. Because I'm going to assume when he said Russian punks or whatever, there was probably an extreme reaction from the Wraith people.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Sit in the corner. Here we go. Yep. You're not furniture. Go. There we go. Sorry. But yes, I'd assume so. And to answer your question as to why they didn't roll out their own equipment, because realistically, they want control. So they could control the Russians, or so they felt. And for the record, it wasn't like the Russians weren't packing stuff. They just weren't packing hypertech. But they were packing some pretty nice weaponry. Some pretty military weaponry.
What? I assume you were there. What casualties were on each side?
Gravedigger kind of scans around the room. The Russians lost about, exactly 16, as a matter of fact. And the Chinese lost about 5, 6.
How did that happen?
Supernatural intervention.
Elaboration would be appreciated.
Gravedigger will tell him the story right up until Gravedigger ran around the back of the whatchamacallit, the back of the building. Yeah.
So, a member of the House of Cups, as well as members of multiple houses within the city, took it upon themselves to intervene in this turf war.
That's a fair assessment, yeah. He'll smile and say, I just fucking hope none of the chink kids in the fucking overbuildings had phones on them at the time, or else this will be on YouTube this time tomorrow.
I've got a bit of a poll that I can make good with. As well, I've also been talking to the speaker, which, Kim, I will talk to you about later. Speaker of the House of Staves, who says that he has members of his house that has influence within certain organizations.
Mm. Needless to say, as I said, if we suddenly see, I don't know, someone turn into a fucking grumpkin or a snark or whatever the fuck changelings are on live television, that will end bad for everyone.
Especially if Bainu was there. But when they do that sort of thing, it has a habit of erasing it. And matter of fact, from what I know, you're not going to remember seeing that happen.
Oh, I didn't see it happen. I didn't see them after they changed. I ducked around the corner.
Oh.
Before they did it. I just assumed by the sound of the carnage that there was a lot of carnage.
Well, it'll erase itself the next day if needed. It'll be fine. It'll be treated as rumor or hearsay, that sort of thing. Besides, I'm pretty sure if the technocracy were behind this, which it sounds like they were, nothing's going to get out. I mean, the police didn't even show up, right?
Well, they did eventually, but Smith is going to use this as his last tool. Because, right, you know where his stronghold is, where the last fucking bastion lies. He's going to use this as a tool to crack down so hard on the city, because this is an open gangland attack, that we won't be able to breathe, let alone move. So whatever you're planning, or whatever people are planning, they better do it now, sharpish, before the fucking cops are not only on every street corner, but every street corner has one of their fucking AdMech things.
Well, it's fortunate that I'm almost done then. Within 2 days, I'll be able to send people to Seoul.
I'm going to be honest with you. Myself, Pyro, and Spider would like to avail of this service, only we'd like to go to Seoul and get the fuck out of Asia.
So you're turning tail. And all the vaunted stories I hear of how the Hollow Ones, as masters of the disparate orders, strive to make everybody their equal and to fight for those who need fighting for. You're going to abandon the city in its most desperate hour?
You'll say, I fought Mordecai for this city. I fought Zalish for this city. I saw it all come crashing down. I read the book of an old god and had whatever fucking knowledge that had downloaded into my brain. I don't want a quiet life, because a quiet life would be dull as fuck. However, we have fought and bled and given our little bit, but now it's for other hands. I'm not a fighter, Master DeSalle. I can't go into their little laboratory and come out alive. And I'm not putting my life in the hands of others who I don't trust.
You've done so much. You've done so much. And what about those that have done more and died for it? Or been lost? Very well. I will send you and your men ahead to get you the fuck out of Asia, as you said.
He'll say,
And it would probably be fortunate that I do that before I send, or even call the others.
no, we get to be test subjects.
No. More, I don't want the others to see you running and try to kill you for abandonment. This is a war after all. And when soldiers of a war derelict their posts, they tend to get shot.
You can see he smiles and he laughs as the silver hair kind of cascades down around him. And he says, very well then. We've already made arrangements for our stuff to be moved and the clubs are being sold. So, when will you be ready?
As I said, I'll be ready in 2 days.
Wonderful.
I'm planning on using the energy from the solar eclipse as an amplifier.
You know that if the technocracy find out that you're doing this, if they sense the power being gathered, they'll kill you. They'll find a way to do it.
I am so old now. So very old. I have watched generations fade like dust. I have watched my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren of multiple generations die. And I will continue to live until the final battle comes. Until then, there is nothing they can do to me that I do not wish them to do.
Right. Well then, as I said, we will be ready in 2 days. It will give us time to do the final preparations.
Until then, I have my own preparations to complete.
I understand.
Have a good evening, Gravedigger.
He'll tip the top hat.
And he'll turn and he'll leave.
Cool. That's about all I needed to get done, so unless anyone else has anything else they need to do that's pressing.
All right, that'll finish this out. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. If you do watch in the future, thank you for watching. This has been another edition of Hong Kong House of Cards. Have a pleasant evening.